about that stuff, and I've read the Bible a lot, but, and it used to have a lot of impact, and religion in general had a lot of impact. But I guess as I've grown older, I've grown less tolerant of where religion has gotten to these days. But I think what I'm saying with bringing those sorts of things in on this record is that I really have a belief in the idea of belief, and that we as human beings shouldn't really be ridiculed for the fact that we want something that exists beyond ourselves, and that's a hugely endearing part of being human, that we believe that we can believe in all in things outside of ourselves, even when our belief systems can be so destructive and corrupt and cause such problems in the world. I think that idea that we think beyond ourselves is a lovely thing about being human.
There's also a recognition that there are some things in life, some immaterial things in life that cannot be reached. There's this song in which you say that you can see the mermaids, but you can't actually reach them.
Yeah. Taken out of context like that seems a bit.
In Mermaids, in the song Mermaids, actually, they say the mermaids sun themselves out on the rocks. They are beyond our speech.
Yeah, beyond our touch. Yeah, but well, I think that song is about being. Look, a lot of these songs are about looking. On this new record, they're really telling stories, but they're also about the process of writing songs. So for me, what writing songs is about is looking. I'm always looking, and I'm always telling stories, and they're highly visual. So in a lot of the songs on this record, something's happening here, like something really exciting and interesting, but the actual song is about the guy who's sitting separate from the action over here, and maybe separated from the action by a variety of different things. And one of those things is age. That it's an older person looking about what's going on in a new world, in a world full of young people, let's say, or whatever. So that's really what I'm talking about. The way you've taken those lines there and said them, it just sort of sounds like some old guy looking at a bunch of young girls and he can't get to them, which on one hand might be true a little bit, but it's not really what I'm writing about. That Mermaids is sort of an interesting song for me because it starts off with these really appalling lines about with these catches and snatches and all of this sort of stuff. Very difficult lines to sing, really. But they're about loss and failure. And then the story moves on to other things. But the aura of failure and loss around that particular song is very, very strong, I think, and I love that song because of that. You don't really have to know all this. You can just put it on and I like it anyway.
My favorite song in the record.
Well, it's my favorite subject, myself.
There are congresses and theses about your work, and scholars reunite and discuss your lyrics, your novels, your scriptwriting, there's everything. But nobody seems to talk about you as a singer and as a performer, what you do on the stage. How have you been developing your skills on the stage, and where did that come from, your influences, as a performer?
Well, actually, I was reading one scholarly thing about There was an essay that was written for university on why my way I move on stage is primarily gay. You know, the way I touch the other members of my band, the way I kiss Blix Bargeld on the lips. And it was long, it was, you know. So, I've forgotten your question again. So it made me perform really differently the next time I went on stage.
So you read all the scholars' papers
I read that
written
one.
about you?
I read that one. But look, performance, the performance thing is, first of all, let's get the singing part of it out of the way. I don't think people write 100-page theses on my voice because it's just not that good. You know, it's expressive, and I have a way with phrasing occasionally that's pleasing, but basically my intonation's fucking woeful. You know, and there's a lot of, there can be a lot of problems with it. But the performance thing is something that I particularly love. I love the energy of being between the bad seeds and the audience, this kind of compacting of energies coming from both directions that create a kind of state of being as a singer that is transcendent for a while that song goes on. And if I can lose myself in the song, it's a really amazing feeling for me. It's like I've become that person I always wanted to be. That deep down I know I'm not, but that I always wanted to be for a little bit of time, and it's an amazing feeling for me. And then you go off stage and you're back to that guy, you know.
There's a question, one of your questions that's related to this. I'm just going to do it because it seems like you forgot about it. You said, I mean, performing is it's a big part of being a musician, or I take that in your case it is. Whereas when you're writing a screenplay in cinema, like you leave the work like halfway through the goal line. I mean, you have to give your work away to people who make other decisions and who have to put in.
This is for what? This is for what?
For screenplay writing in cinema.
Yeah.
So does it not bother you that you cannot see the whole process all the way through? That you have to rely on, you know, director and
With screenplay writing.
Yes.
Yeah, as compared to songwriting.
Yeah, screenplay writing is it's dog's work. It's really, I don't recommend it to anybody unless they direct the film themselves, you know. Because even though I work very closely with John Hillcoat, who is an amazing director and a very dear friend, to make a film in Hollywood these days, it needs to go through a lot of people before it ever gets anywhere. And that idea, I think, largely of the singular vision of the director in American cinema is, I think, is being eroded more and more. And I could be wrong, but that's the way I think about it. But I don't really like writing scripts. I liked it for a bit, but I've got.
So